And right now, we're looking at live pictures of our U.S. Capitol. We're starting to see security plans go into effect ahead of that far-right rally, which is supposed to take place in our nation's capital this weekend. So that rally, the J6 rally, it's supposed to show support for those who stormed the U.S. Capitol in January. Yeah, you heard me right. Crews are working to make sure the building is surrounded by fencing to prevent another violent breach. Concrete barriers and fencing are all expected to be in place by the end of the day. Several streets in the area will be closed and parking will also be restricted. U.S. Capitol Police have requested National Guard assistance ahead of that far-right rally, again in support of the insurrectionists who stormed our Capitol. No details on how many National Guard members will be deployed, but an emergency declaration has been issued to let outside law enforcement be deputized as special Capitol Police officers. So if you are traveling this weekend, you definitely want to give yourself some extra time. The TSA will have more officers and more canines on standby. The agency says it will be keeping a close watch and will, quote, be positioned to deploy. That's if any tensions happen in our nation's capital. So joining me to talk about this further is Remmington Belford. He is one of the 370 Hill staffers who wrote a letter to impeach President Trump. Remmington, first off, thank you for joining us, sir. I can't imagine what it must be like to think about what happened that dreadful day. If you can just walk us back to January 6th and what you endured and how you stayed safe, more importantly.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. Just to go back to what that day, that infamous day was for all of us staffers, it was just a day of constant fear. You experienced trauma that has resonated and stayed with us since that day. Being a Southerner, you notice and are aware of different types of dispositions of people that, potentially have racist ideologies and or, sycophantic behavior. And we saw all of that, we saw them lay siege to the seat of our democracy. We saw them, leave excrement on the walls of the Capitol and urinate in the hallways and just exclaim expletives to the Capitol police officers who were working to keep us safe. And it was just a day that'll remain in infamy for a lot of us. And to hear that they're celebrating it this weekend is just utterly disgusting, in my opinion.
Well, let's talk about that. How does that make you feel, knowing that you were there when that chaos broke out, really just trying to save yourself?
Yeah, it was. I always say that by the grace of God, we were safe. I was with my boss and we were barricaded in our office for hours. But it just is disgusting to me to think that this type of behavior is celebrated. To think that this type of action can be something that they utilize as a rousing mechanism is just it's disappointing. I would think that as Americans, we would galvanize around some sort of this type of enemy or this type of divisive mindset. But you've seen this chasm that's been created, and it's been fueled by people who are comfortable living with things that are unverified and inaccuracies and propagating things that just truly are harmful to our democracy.
Yeah, and when you say things unverified, I'm assuming you're talking about the big lie, which continues to reverberate through every election. We saw it in California more recently before the numbers were even counted. But as a congressional staffer, how does it make you feel knowing that certain lawmakers are actually supporting these insurrectionists?
It's very disappointing. I'll say from my position, you would think that everybody who was there would understand the gravity of what happened that day. But it seems as though there's a selective amnesia going on. And I won't venture or opine to talk about, what the members are supporting and what they're not doing and what the fuel is for that. But I will say that for those of us staffers who penned that letter, we were there. We experienced that trauma, and many of us are collectively trying to get through that through the use of, therapy and other types of alternative mechanisms. But it's just, to me, just disappointing and disgusting. And I think that if people really want to, hold people accountable for any type of integrity issues with the election, they should do so in a method that is not harmful, in a method that is verified, in a way that is aligned with our democratic principles.
All right, I want to play some sound from you, for you, better yet, from the rally organizer, Mr. Brainard, about holding Capitol Police officers accountable for shooting and killing rider Ashley Babette, who was trying to break into the House chamber. It's also worth noting that that officer was cleared of all charges.
If you believe that when a police department kills an unarmed citizen, if that police department can clear itself of any wrongdoing without any third-party oversight, we believe that is wrong. And we think that most of America believes that is wrong. Could you imagine what would have happened if the Minneapolis police had cleared Derek Chauvin in George Floyd's murder and just said, it's fine, we looked at it, not a problem? Nobody would have found that acceptable.
And Remington, I'm sure general consensus would say that was one of so many situations where the officer was actually held accountable for their actions against brutalizing us, folks that look like us. What's your response to him?
I just don't understand the conflation. Honestly, I believe that it's deplorable that he would even try to conflate the two. If you see what happened that day, she was clearly an aggressor and trying to break the barrier past where they were holding elected officials who are, appointed to continue our democracy, and they were all in fear of their lives. And she was the clear aggressor. And there was third party oversight, and there was a complete and comprehensive investigation conducted into that fatality. And it's disgusting to me that this type of conflation is allowed to be afforded a platform. The type of police brutality that has been happening and that's rampant in our communities is nothing similar to what happened on that day. What happened on that day was a trained police officer protecting elected officials who are looking to implement the voices of the American people. It's nothing similar to what's happened on the streets of Milwaukee or in Texas or any other places where we've seen police brutality run rampant. And it's disappointing that he would utilize that as a platform.
Yeah. Remington, what are you concerned about going into this weekend with this rally?
Safety. Let's be very clear. I'm going to be at home with my deadbolt on. I will not be leaving the house, and I've, interacted with my therapist on just to make sure that there's no type of triggers that happen for me that I'm unable to navigate and to process. And I'm praying that there is nothing that happens that compromises the safety of anybody who is on Capitol Hill. Our offices will be closed, and I know the number of offices will be closed ahead of this rally, just because it's just not safe. You don't know what they're capable of. And so definitely I'm not looking forward to it. I think that it's unnecessary. I think that it's wrong. I think that it's harmful. I think it's divisive. And I think that people should really take a look at their actions if they're looking to celebrate something as dangerous and divisive as January 6th, the insurrection.